You can sing.
Oh no. Hey y'all, she can't sing.
Yeah, you can sing.
She
You
can
can
no,
sing.
she can sing, but she can't sing. That's a difference. That singing thing, that singing thing is coming from the heart. She just be calling words. And can't
No,
remember those.
the way you be singing it though, I thought that be coming from the heart. That's for sure.
Be
Well,
missing words, forgetting lyrics, making it up.
exactly. Look, watermelon, hey, watermelon, whoa, watermelon. You ever heard that? If you don't know the words to a song, just keep saying watermelon over and
The
over.
mm.
I love it. How was your day, Sue?
Hey, hey.
How's your day been?
Ah,
Ah,
it's been an interesting week. It was emotionally, energetically heavy in some spaces. It was emotionally intense in some spaces. I had to had to remind myself of my spiritual growth in some places, and not go down into the darkness of the old self. So it's been an interesting week, and today I just gave myself grace to eat fig Newtons and go to sleep.
eat, eat Big Newtons and go to sleep.
What,
That sounds
eat
like
fig Newtons, watch TV, and go to sleep.
a personalized recipe for a good day, huh?
Yeah, so
There
that
you
was
go.
my day. How about yours?
My day was good. My day was good. Day was very uh free flowing today. I just kind of went with the flow. Whatever gut instinct I had, that's what I went through. I got up. I kind of tarried it just a little bit, but then I got up and I went to the gym, had a nice workout. Saw a lady that was a customer at the place I just resigned from. So, and I thought that was her, and I was on my way to a specific chair because I was doing lower body today, and I had just got done with the abductors, the going out. So I was going moving just over one to the going in, but I wanted to go ahead and clean the machine out first. And she was sitting up right beside the one I was going to, and I was just like, let me say hey to her. Like, I think I'm pretty sure she's gonna remember me. And she was like, oh my God, so we gave each other a hug and we talked about, things and yeah, so it was just good. It was just a good free flowing day. After that I came to the house, met up with a dude, came back to the house, talked to my friend Kim's birthday. Shout out to Kimmy Royster. His birthday was yesterday. And I messaged him today, happy birthday, a day late because I forgot. And thank God for Facebook because it really reminded me. But it's like I really want to tell him happy birthday because me and Carrie, we used to have some really good and deep conversations. So when I messaged him, he called me, and I don't answer my phone. Everybody know I'm always posting stuff to say the best time to call me is through text. Because I just, I don't really talk on the phone to that many people. What's going on, Michelle? So
Hey,
when I looked
hey.
down and I saw it was him calling, I'm like, I'm gonna answer because I always know I can count on Kimmy to talk some sense. So we ended up talking for like an hour and a half. So that was amazing. And honestly, I had no idea today was Friday. All day today, I have thought it was Thursday until you text me and said, "Are we on for tonight?" And
Are
I'm
we
like,
on?
well, shit. Yes, we sure are. We sure. I look at the time. I'm like, I throw this head wrap on. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. So yeah, it's been a really good day. And the funny thing about it is, when you text me that, I was sitting down and I was writing content. It's been a long time since I actually wrote content instead of making a video, editing the video, then hashtagging it out. So, and I got the master class coming up. Whoop whoop. January 26th. So I'm getting a lot of my thoughts and stuff down on paper so that I can make sure because I have the structure. I've done this class before. It's not the first time I've done it, but I wasn't, even 2 months ago, I'm not the same person. So I want to make sure that I
Right.
make my notes and things that I know I want to share, and then I'm going to go through the one I've done before, the recording of it, and just see where it's best to make sure I add the new information that I
Mhm.
have. So it's like, hey, let's go. I'm already in the space. I'm in it. I
Sounds
have
like
all
it was a very productive day.
it
So
was.
today we're supposed to talk about, you remember what we're talking about today?
No.
I know you don't. We are talking about the power of I am. Those two
Oh,
words,
sweet.
the
I
power
love
of
it.
I am.
The
And
power of I am.
I'm gonna lead into it with
Please do.
a story, a
Let me
little
get my mouse. Go
story.
ahead.
But we wait till Miss Carrie comes back real quick.
No, no, go ahead. I was just grabbing my mouse.
Okay, so I'm gonna lead into it with a story. When I said I've been quote unquote dealing with life this week,
Yep.
it is a story that focuses on I am.
Okay.
Um, many years ago in the dark ages, I I was married. I was married to
Married.
a man named Joel Collins, who was the father of my son, Brian Collins. Well, when we got divorced, we got married in 84, we were divorced in 86, right? And at that time, my birth name, don't, I'm just saying, don't, I don't like that name. But my birth name my birth name is Mattie, Maptie. And so people who have known me forever know me by that name, which I'm okay with. But roll it back a little bit before that, when I in ninth, 10th grade, I shifted from the black high school to the white high school. Well, Maddie was my grandmother's name, and I didn't like her, so I didn't like the name. So when I made that shift, I also changed my name. I dropped the Maddie, but I dropped it in terms of just using it on the regular basis, but and became Sue Carter. But I kept my legal name. Legally, I was still Maddie Sue Carter, right? Then I got married to my son's dad, and I became Maddie Sue Carter Collins. Then I got divorced, y'all. I'm telling all my business, but you need to understand the storyline. So then I got divorced, and I remember going to the Social Security office. I don't know why I was there, but I remember it because I remember being furious with the person that I was having the interaction with, the representative, because she told me that I could only put 3 of my names. Well, I have 4 names: Maddie Sue Carter Collins, right? So she said you can only put 3 names because that's all the blocks we got. And I said, well, I got 4 names. And she said, well, you have to choose. So I dropped the Maddie on my identification. I then became Sue Carter Collins, right? And that's what my driver's license is in. And that's what my passport is in. Now, y'all, that was in 1988. How many years has that been? I'm just saying. And so of late, I have this account with Social Security. And initially, we were able to use just create a regular password and get in. But now, because of all of this fraud stuff, the government is now using third-party vendors to verify your identification. And so before I had been able to get into my government account, now all of a sudden I can't get into it. So I got to go through this third party vendor that ID me, which says, okay, so I did a little video visit. I uploaded the driver's license and everything. And they said, you're great. We verified you. How about the Social Security system says this person doesn't exist? We don't know who this person is, and basically they're locking me out of the system because your computer, we don't know who you verified, but it ain't the person that we got in our system, right? So we got Maddie Sue Carter Collins as one. Carter Collins is one name, whereas for me it's Carter space Collins, 2 names. So
Right.
I started dealing with this last Friday. It was just overwhelming. I was finally able to get an appointment. I went into Social Security office on Monday, and it was so. At first, it irritated the heck out of me. Um, because I'm talking to the lady and I said, well, I have 4 names. She said, we have 3 spaces.
Here we go again, huh?
We got 3 spaces. I said, she said, we have you in our system as Maddie Sue Carter Space Collins. But Carter Collins is your last name. And I said, no, ma'am, you don't understand. So I said, that is not my last name. My last name is Collins. I said, she said, I'm going to give you a piece of paper and you can write out what you're saying. So I drew 4 columns, 4 columns, and I put Maddie Sue Carter Collins. And I underlined each one as I was saying it, right? And so then she took the paper, she took the pen and the paper, and she said, we have Maddie Sue Carter Collins.
Right, exactly. Carter Collins. Carter Collins.
So at this point, I'm going, no, that's not right. I said, that's 4 names. She goes, listen, we got 36 characters. We got room for 36.
Carter Collins.
We got room for 36 characters. And we can't change the, you know, we can't just change your name. I had to show my birth certificate, and then I had to show my marriage license, or my marriage certificate, my divorce paper. These are all original documents. And I had to show the paper trail to show who I am. And on my divorce decree, it has Maddie Sue Carter Collins.
No, Carter Collins.
So I said, see, I got 4 names. She said, no, ma'am. she said, and by now we were both laughing. I'm over being pissed because I'm realizing it's not who I say I am. It's not who she says I am. It's whoever it was that programmed that system in the first place that put in 36 characters for a name.
It's all the space we got.
36 is who the computer says I am, right? And so now we're laughing, and I'm going, no, this is not right. I said, well, what about people who have 5 or 6 names? She said, we got 3 spaces and 36.
Okay. Who you want? We got
3 spaces and 36 characters. And she said, and we get this a lot with people who come, foreigners who come here when they're getting their cards, their identification cards. And I said, well, how do you deal with that? She said, we got 36 spaces. We got 36 characters and 3 spaces. And they have to choose which of their names that they want to go have in those blocks. And, you know, when people have 5 and 6 and 7 different names, no. She said, if you try to put all that into the space, then it's going to end up like you did, or it's going to end up with, let's say your last name is Johnson and you're coming up on your 36 characters, John, that's all you got. So you then become, instead of Johnson, you're not John. And that is the name that you must file your taxes under. That is the name that all of the federal, when you step up to when you try to get your passport, that's the name they're looking for in the system. So as I was laughing about it, I got over being angry because I realized I can't be angry at the lady.
Right, she did not build this system. She had nothing to do with it.
It's like, who are you and who do they say you are? Right. And honestly, I felt some kind of way, right? Because when I realized and started to laugh about it and realized the absurdity of the situation, I also realized that energetically it hit me in a certain way. I felt that in my body. I felt that since I was 15 years old, I'm 73. Since I was 15 years old, I have been Sue Carter Collins. And now you want me to be Carter Collins as a name. And on the face of it, when you look at it on paper, it doesn't look like there's any difference. But there is a difference in terms of the identity. The identity. I have not identified as Maddie since I was 15. Right. And now, and I really have not identified ever as Carter Collins. So now you're giving me, I am no longer Sue Collins. I am now Carter Collins. So all of my information is filed under Carter as opposed to under Collins, which is what it should be. And so I almost felt like I was being raped of my identity and being given a different identity. Mm-hmm. And on the face of it, when you look at the way I sign documents, I've signed most legal contracts I signed with the full, all four names anyway. So right. You could say that, well, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. And when you're just looking at it in the abstract like that, it doesn't. But when you're looking at it from a psychological impact, what is the psychological impact on me? I am not Maddie, and I am not Carter Collins. And so now you've given me an identity that's not mine. But it is one that, because you only have 3 spaces and 36 characters, it is right. Now one that I must become for certain purposes in order to exist within this governmental structure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who I get it. And who do they say you are? And what is the impact on you? And the thing is like you and I, when we talked last week, and we said we would talk about I am, or the power of I am. Of course, I wasn't thinking about this then, but I am, those words, the name of one of the names of God, but those words are creative. They are creative forces. And every time you say I am, what follows is what you are creating. And so now you want me to say I am Carter Collins. That is a foreign identity. That's not who I am. And yet it is who, for when I deal with my insurance, when I deal with IRS, when I deal with Social Security, when I deal with any of the federal agencies and state agencies, it is now who I must become. So I'm still processing that, but it didn't feel good to my soul because it didn't feel like that's not who I am. I got
right.
3 names, I got 4 names.
Right.
But you only got 36 characters.
Right. Carter Collins. Let me ask you something. Why do you keep
scripture?
Huh? No, go ahead.
It reminded me of that scripture that where Jesus says, who do you say I am? When he was asking Simon Peter. And Simon Peter says, you are the Messiah, the Son of the living God. And it's like, that is so impactful. Who do they say you are? Because the government is taking, I don't mean for this to be a rant against the government. It's just a reality. The government is taking more and more liberties with our personal stuff, taking more and more liberties with regard to who they say we are. And how is that lining up with who you say you are? And what impact does that have on you in terms of who you choose to become? Because the I am Sue Carter Collins. I'm an author. I am a speaker. I'm all of that identity under that. Maddie didn't do any of that. Different energy, different mindset, different person. Carter Collins, that girl, that's a new girl.
Right.
That girl has not yet, until this past week, when it became real clear to me that is your new persona, right? That girl has not yet showed up on the stage. And so on the one hand, again, you could say, but it's just a name. Yeah, it is a name. It's just a name, but it is the words that follow I am. I am. Is that consistent with who you feel yourself to be with regard to your divinity? I don't know if that, it's like, I don't know if you're following me, but
I'm following you.
You took something from me, and you're trying to put me into a space that it doesn't feel comfortable. And yet it is a space that in certain ways I must grow in this space. I must become that person for certainly for legal purposes. That is the person that I must become. But that's not, I don't have, how do you say, I'm not yet in divine alignment with that person.
It doesn't sit well with you.
Doesn't sit well with me.
I got a question. Now you know I got a question.
Yeah.
What made you? What was the reasoning behind the decision that you decided to keep the last name Collins?
My son. I did not want my name to be different than my son's name.
Uh-huh.
I was married to his father. He was born in wedlock. I did not want him to deal with any stigma, or even to have to answer the question, well, why is your name different than your mama's name?
Mhm.
So I kept it. And by
Okay.
that time too, I had also started my writing career. And so I had my first publication under Collins. And it there did not seem to be a good reason to change it. Even though the marriage was over, my life with my son was still there. I didn't want him to have to deal with those questions.
Mm-hmm. No, and it may be the same exact answer, but again, I got the question. What is the reason you keep it now?
Oh, now I would have to go to court to get it changed. I have to get a court order to change it. And
Oh
also
man.
now, um, my all of my work, my authorship, my clients, my business is Sue Carter
Mhm.
Collins.
Yeah.
That is who I am to the world.
Hmm.
The only
So
people who know
now,
me as Maddie is the government and people that I grew up with before I was 15 years old.
now, wait a minute. Maybe I lost the turn somewhere. So what is the name that they're trying to say you have to be?
Oh, they say I have to be Carter Collins. Okay, so it's okay. So here this makes it clear. As a professor, I was Dr. Sue Carter Collins for 15
Right.
years.
Uh-huh.
Before that, as legal advisor, I was Sue Carter Collins, legal advisor for 10 years. So
Mm-hmm.
now I am, if, by their records, I am Sue Carter Collins, one word. That person has not done anything. That person has not yet been in existence except in their computer system, which has
Right.
36 characters.
Right.
But,
Well.
but I understand what they're doing. There is a concern. There's so much fraud now, so many
Yeah.
scams with all of the homeland security issues. It is a way to match the person you say you are with the person in their system. I get it. I'm
Yeah.
not
Oh
at
yeah, for sure.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not at all having a problem with that. I'm just having a problem with the short-sightedness of the person who coded this, and
Right.
with the fact that the government does not see a need to change it to accommodate the people. The people have to fit into their three spaces
Right.
and 30 characters, as opposed to being allowed to really be who you are. You want to
Mhm.
know who I am. I'm not 36 characters, and I'm not Sue Carter Collins.
You
I'm
got
not
that
that,
right. You got that
right?
right.
So let me be who I am. Give me 4 blocks with however many characters I need. And so now it's like even
Well,
even
no, they have to have
now,
12 blocks, Dr. Sue.
huh?
They're not gonna put 12 blocks on there. Some people got 12 names. If they give you your 4, they're gonna have to give somebody else 12. You
And
not
and and, and, and your
I
point
ain't
is,
going. I ain't going. That's never gonna happen.
and you like people have more than 36 characters in their name,
I
right?
know. Yeah, you are 100% right. They are never gonna change it. What you say? I've changed my name several times, but I always tend to migrate back to Michelle Hardy. Yeah, I definitely thought about changing my name. That's why I call myself Carrie Irene. Because you take on the name of your father's family, typically, and I just think that was fair. How's that fair? Why people gotta just drop their names, and why does the last name matter? And the only reason I kept my name was not because I didn't come up with some other names that I really did like, but I kept my name because I truly am a good split between my mom and my dad. So my first name is my dad's mom's name, and my middle name, Irene, is my mom's name. So I like being called Carrie Irene because it captures both sides of my lineage without having to have a root name or, well, because why? Because why we got them, That's why I love cultures that, they get a certain age, they could change their name, or like especially like Native American cultures where they name themselves depending on their purpose or their,
Yeah.
their enlightenment or their awareness of self, and it just goes through this hierarchy of what your totem is and your spiritual, and all of them are just as good as any other. You don't value it because you're related to someone or this that. It's because your journey and you're able to exemplify that and really put that into a translation that's unique to you. That's your name. Like, and it can't be put on in no, and it can't be put in 12 columns. It ain't a number. You know,
3 blocks,
down.
36 characters.
Put
I'm just saying.
put your hand down. Oh my God, that is funny to me. I am too.
I have my friend's son has, I think he's got 5 or 6 names. And when I was talking to the lady at Social Security, I was thinking about him. It's like, oh my God, I don't know
Yeah,
what
my
they're gonna do to
grandmother.
that baby.
My grandmother had, I think it was 7, just 6 or 7, and one of them was Hattie instead of Maddie, but Hattie, Hattie. It was Irene, Hattie, Good, Black, something, 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 something. Cordelia was one of them. Yeah, because my niece's name is Cordelia. Yeah, she had like 6, 7 names, so I understand it. I completely get it. My dad, he didn't even have a middle name. He was just Nathaniel Crosby, and most people just called him Nay or
Yeah.
Uncle Nay or Ray. Okay, well,
She,
if I change my name, I'll be Rainhorse Featherbed.
oh, the rain keeps coming down.
Like, what is you doing? What, is that what you gonna be doing? Is you gonna get a rain dance with feathers and dance like you gonna do a little something? I love to see it. I love to see it. So,
She
Dr.
did.
Sue, huh? What's up? What you say?
The lady did tell me. She told me I could have 2 names, but it had to be the first name and Carter Collins. you,
Carter
you don't have to have 3. You have 2. As long as your
Collins.
last one fits with the one that we have in our system.
Carter Collins.
Carter
It is
Collins.
what it is. There was no space in between the Carter Collins.
So
Carter
that
Collins.
was my experience with I am, but it just brought this whole
Yeah.
thing, it gave me a different perspective. Initially, I was just looking at I am as being creative from a manifestation standpoint, right? That your words are so powerful. And every time you say I am, you should be aware. We all should be aware of, well, what comes after that? I'm angry, I'm hurt, I am depressed, I'm sad. And every time you say that, one of those, whatever it is you say, then there are certain chemicals that are being released in your body to give you the feeling that accompanies the language. So when you say I'm depressed, then you've got those quote unquote depressed chemicals that are causing you to feel that way. When you say I'm happy, then you got some serotonin or whatever that's giving you a boost. You say, like, some days I get up and my body is tired, and I realize I'm at a decision point. I can acknowledge that my body is tired, which I do, but then the next thought is, well, are you just going to linger in that, or are you going to do something else? So yeah, my body is tired, but let me get up and let me keep it moving, because I
Absolutely.
know, and I tell myself, I know that if I am active, then I'm, whatever this sluggishness is, whatever this thing is that I'm feeling, then I can walk out of that. I can move out of that. But
Right.
my my mindset is not one of, oh, I'm so tired, I'm so sluggish, because that's going to keep me in the bed. My
Yeah.
mindset is, this is just temporary. I can move through this. I know that if I go for a walk, I go to the gym, I go and get a cup of coffee, I get something, I do something, and I know that I'm going to move through this.
Right.
Mindset is everything. And those words that everything that follows the I am. I just think we have to become more conscious of what are we saying, because we're consciously, we're maybe subconsciously programming our subconscious mind to give us exactly what we say following the I am. And that's why it's so important to just pause for a moment and think about what you are about to say. And if you can't pause before you say it, when you listen to what's coming out of your mouth, because what's coming out of your mouth is creating the life that you are living. And if you don't like the life that you're living, hey, it's about choice. Change your languaging, but you got to feel it. You just can't say, oh, I'm so happy. Dang, that and nobody gonna believe you happy. Your subconscious mind is not gonna even believe that. So your subconscious mind is going to go for, you go, I'm so happy. It's going to that's down energy. That's low vibrational energy, and it's going to give you what you're asking for subconsciously.
Mm-hmm.
This subconscious mind, the power of the I am and how it works, it's deep.
It
But
is
it's not
deep.
so deep that we can't move through it. It's not so deep that we can't understand it. We just have to have the awareness and the desire to do something different, to think a different thought, reframe the thoughts that come after the I am if they're not creating the life that you want them to create.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was thinking when you were saying that, it reminds me of like every time that you back, and when I say back, it's kind of like when you talk about an investor, like you're gonna back something up, right? Energetically, every time you back a negative emotion, you're entering into a new energetic contract with that emotion. So if, say for instance, you at a apartment complex, right? You at an apartment complex and you enter into a contract of a year. Well, if you go up there and you're interacting with the people after a year and you still staying there, they automatically gonna put you into another contract because you got your shit in there, you in there, you coming up there, you keep paying. If you're acting as if and you're still showing up in the same spot that you've been abiding, then the same contract is gonna stay in place because they're not gonna keep you outside of contract when you and their stuff just to cover the CYA, cover their ass, right? Energetically, it's the same thing. If you speak behind those I am statements, defeat and depression and negativity and trauma, you are energetically entering into that contract over and over and over again. So as you start to bring those things up and you speak on those things, now you have to live out that vibrational cycle of life that we all talk about, the circle of life. You sing about it all day, but you don't think about it when it comes whoop you in your ass. Because you said that, and it could be something as swift as you bump your toe. Like, this day has given me every reason to go back to bed, and then you bump your toe. It's like, okay, well, you're looking for reasons to go back to bed, so I can supply that for you. I don't have it may not hurt that bad, but right now, if it's just an annoyance, and annoyance is all you talk about, everybody who call, and then you don't post about it on Facebook, how you annoyed this morning, you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and then a bunch of people comment about how they woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and then you say, yeah, girl, typically Monday, and you get deeper and deeper and deeper, and you sign the contracts, you're signing your time away, because now you're gonna get dings and notifications in the middle of the day or some other miserable story. Like, I mean, I'm not saying you should. I'm saying what I'm saying. If you want a different outcome, stop spending time and paying rent in situations where you don't want to live. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm not going to sugarcoat it because that's what we doing. We are too grown to be pretending that we don't know why we got stuff that keeps showing up that's kind of fucked up. It's because we're spending time. It ain't because we're really doing a lot of fucked up things, but we are putting more time into the pool of the energy that produces fucked up things. And we got to get out that energy. We got to get into some energy that produces good things, good conversations, positive outcomes, healing, growth, or whatever. If you're in it, look, and don't get me wrong, because me and Monique tell you from the jump, me and her wish the best for each other, but sometimes we both want some wings, okay? That don't mean sometimes you ain't gonna get a little weak, in your right doing. But it does mean that you do hold yourself energetically accountable for the spaces that you continuously sign these energetic contracts with. You don't have to keep having that same conversation. You don't have to keep answering the phone. They're going to need, I promise you. Yes, they need you, but if you do not answer the phone, I promise you they will find somebody else that will. They will. They just will. If you knock on doors long enough, someone's gonna answer. But you ain't got to be the one. You don't have to be the one. And we put ourselves under these energetic contracts as if we gotta be responsible for the way someone else feel in their good day with all their power that they have over there, and they neglect to use it. So we're gonna use our power to go fill it up. Ma'am, no, sir, we're not. You ain't. No, we ain't. Get yourself together. Get your worry about yourself. Y'all remember that meme? That little girl trying to put her seatbelt on. The daddy was like, "You need some help?" She was like, "No, worry about yourself. I got it. It may be a little rough. It may be a little uncomfortable for you, but you got it. Worry about yourself. As long as you worry about yourself, I promise you're gonna come through for yourself every time because you've been doing it since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Trust yourself. You are what? Now you can fill in your I am statement from a badass perspective, right? I am resourceful. How about that? That
Mhm.
because that's on the other side of man. I just keep coming up on crazy situations, but you got through every single one of them, crazy or not, right? So what that make you, right? Resourceful, right? So can't we just cancel that sentence of crazy stuff coming up and say, girl, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna gob up in this bitch. Come on. I give me a roll of duct tape and I'm gonna make things happen up in here because every time something come up, I got the answer because I was built like that. Different energy in that.
Yeah, 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 for
We
sure.
gotta stop spending a lot of time in situations and energetic contracts that we do not want to keep signing up for.
I think sometimes and it's the programming. We think that, well, first of all, we don't think. But then when we do, whether it's conscious or subconscious, we think that in order to be a friend, in order to be a support, that we have to immerse ourselves in the same energy as the person that we're supporting. But y'all, think about it this way. If somebody is drowning and you immerse yourself in the same energy, then both of y'all drowning, right? So if the other person is drowning and you can't, number one, you may not be able to pull them out, pull yourself out. What is it that they say on the airplane? Put your mask on first. Well, on the airplane that is life, put your mask on first. When the other person, I never will forget that day. What was it, Carrie? I was complaining about something, and you said to me,
I
you told
remember
me
what
that
you
four
was
times.
saying about. Because it was when y'all was doing them house repairs.
Yeah, you told
And
me
then
that four times. How many more times you gonna tell me that? It's like,
I was
oh,
like,
I'm like,
because I knew you didn't realize it. I knew you didn't
Mhm.
realize it because every time you told me, it would be this new energy of like, oh, let me tell you this. And I'm thinking, she just told me that. So I was like, by the fourth time, I was like, I'm not listening to this again.
And you know what? That was the best thing that you could have done. That was the best thing that you could have done because that your response at that point just shook me up out of that space that I was in. Because every time I was telling the story, I'd go back into the energy of the occurrence. But when you said that, it's like, oh shit. How many times did I how many times did I tell that? And
Right,
who
because
else
if
did
you
I
told
tell
me,
this?
right, because if you told me four times, like you
Who
had to
else did
at
I
least,
tell?
yeah, yep.
Well, first of all, I felt a little embarrassed, but at the same time, I thought, well, I am so grateful that she said that because that just made me, that was like really emphasizing that I, when I say you, I'm included in the you, must be ever aware of the words that come out of your mouth. Be aware of the story that you're telling yourself because that story it's you're creating and y'all most of the time when we tell ourselves these stories it didn't happen that way. It didn't happen that way. But every time we tell it, we add different coloration. We add different emotion to a word or a phrase or in our mind, we see in pictures. So in our mind, we see a whole thing that if we could just roll it back to when it actually happened, it didn't happen that way. Now, did some of it happen that way? Absolutely. There's a grain of sand, and we just build on it, just like the oyster with the pearl. Grain of sand, just build on it because it's irritating, irritating, irritating. That's what we do with these stories we tell. They're not true. Go back and sit with yourself and think back to now what really happened and be honest. Now where am I adding to this? Whether it's the emotion that I'm adding, whether it's words that weren't said, but they weren't said out loud, but I heard them in my mind. But you created the words that you heard in your mind. And so all of this is goes into the question or answering the question, who is the me that I'm being? I am, and then you tell the story. But you can erase the story that you've told and write a new story if you don't like the one that you've told. Every day, all day long, you get to recreate.
Yeah, you do. And I am, just for all you chakra geeks out there, it's the root chakra affirmation. It is the I am. It's about your belonging, where you really feel rooted and grounded. Like who are you really? Which again goes back to the original story. Don't allow that to put you into a box. Don't allow any box that anyone has to put you in for their own understanding affect how you understand who you are and who you're being, who you're becoming, and allow yourself to that growth so that even if you have to leave your name in the box somewhere, that you don't have to take on that persona of actually
Right.
having in a box. So I think that is very important because you are what you say you are, and that's those I am. And and another thing too, I wanted to say, and I don't know, it came up for me, so I know I need to share it because it's for me too. Don't get me wrong, and I done got mine. I've gleaned in it, but it still sat with me. One of the I ams that I think for a lot of people that is difficult to admit, especially when you lose people, especially when someone's done you wrong, especially when you've had to cut ties with people, especially when you've had to, there's been death, especially when there's been an ending of some type of relationship in particular. I think we need to normalize affirming, I am relieved. I am relieved. I feel like there is this sense of guilt that sometimes want to piggyback on the ending of things. And sometimes that relief is something that takes us by surprise because we sometimes stay in this space of grief instead of relief. But when you think about death, and I'm talking not just talking about physical death. I'm talking about the end of anything, right? You like in tarot cards, you pull the death card, and like, oh Lord, oh God, I'm gonna have a terminal illness. No, that's not what that means. It just means something really closely connected to you is broken apart from you. It ended. It's gone. It's not coming back. It's over. Done with. That's really what death really truly means. It changes form, but this form is done. It doesn't mean it ends forever. It just means the form of something is definitely done. But when those things are done, we need to be real honest about the relief that we feel. Because if we trust that everything is orchestrated by one hand, and if we truly believe that we are protected, if we truly believe, trust in the Lord with all our heart, lean not to our own understanding, all our ways acknowledge Him, and He that direct our path. If we truly believe all these things, then when these things that we're trying so hard to hold on to, I don't know why he did this, I don't know why she did that, or I can't believe she did that, I can't believe they did that. Like, whoo, and like, especially like sometimes you'll see it go shift from one to the other too. You'll see it shift from distraught to I can't believe this to when you change your perspective to I can't believe how easy that was. like I was so stressed about saying the conversation or had telling the thing or leaving or putting in my notice or asking for the divorce or asking for a promotion or demotion. That's what I've been in a job where I'm like, I really wanted a demotion and I didn't want them to be mad at me. Like I just need to cut back my time. I need to focus on some things for myself, and I went in there one day and when I said what I said, it happened in 3 days. 3 days. And I'm like, we sometimes we put ourselves through so much anguish because we think that the typical thing we're supposed to confess are the I ams that's depressing. Girl, I am so heavy. I am so tired. I am so sorry. Yeah, that's a real big one. Right there. I'm so sorry. Stop saying that. I mean, I ain't trying to tell you what to do, but I am trying to tell you what to do. Stop saying that. Apologize if you have to, but you're not sorry. You've never been sorry. We're not sorry. I mean, and if you are making a confession and you feel sorry about something, just say what I did was sorry because you're not
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But profess these things upon yourself. I am, like I said, resources is one of the best ones to use because when you think of someone who's resourceful, that's the cat you always go to, right? That's the cat that's got I know they got jumper cable. I can call them. I know they got jumper cable, and I know they will drop them off to me. The people who are just resourceful like that. Think about yourself that way because there's nothing that you've ever come up against that you didn't figure it out some kind of way. So
Yeah.
if you're in that right now, just gleam on yourself and pat yourself on the back. You're like, you know what? I may be feeling like I'm in hell or hot water, but damn it, I've been through this before. It may not be the same thing, but the energy feels the same because sometimes it feels hard for me to breathe. But it's also how I felt before I won last time. Sometimes I can't sleep at night, but sometimes I can't sleep before something really exciting happens too. So I know that this is going to work out in my favor, even though it may suck right now. All I got to do is just pull out my resources because I know I got everything that I need. You know that. I want to affirm that for you. You have everything you need. You are resourceful. You can do this. You've done it before. You will win. You will win. You will win. And enjoy it now. Like Abraham Hicks always say, you ain't gotta wait till you croak to experience heaven. You don't. You don't. Do it now. Do it right now. So we coming up on the hour, Dr. Sue. That's all I got to say.
Already?
Shocking that. Yeah, girl, we got 4 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
We can go as long as we want, but to be honorable of other people's time.
Yeah. Well, as you were talking, I thought an I am statement that I encourage myself and everyone else to consider using is just I am breathing in this moment. I am breathing in this moment. I am alive. In this moment, I am well. In this moment, I am strong. In this moment, I am great. In this moment, I am the divine. And I think that when we remind ourselves, then the words that come out of our mouth after that will they will be different, they will be empowering, they will a lot of the negative energy that we may feel, if we feel it, a lot of the negative energy we may feel before we make an I am statement like that, and really feel it. Just slow down and feel the breath as it is moving through your body. The breath, that is your life force energy. Feel it as it's moving through your body and affirm that I am breathing, because y'all, a lot of people not breathing today. A lot of people aren't. And when we talk about gratitude, it's the simple things I think that are so important. It's simple, but it is everything. Because if you're not breathing, you're not here. Focus on the breath. I am breathing. I'm breathing. I'm breathing.
And I'll tell you what, if you want to do any specific type of breath work, go to YouTube University. They have so many good tutorials on YouTube. time after time, we've gone through some really good breathing. Or go back and watch the replays of the Healing Summit. Joannetti did a lot of breathing exercises. Dr. Stu did a breathing exercise. I feel like a couple other people did breathing exercise throughout the Healing Summit, and they're all pinned to the top of HBA Impact Group. So yeah, go there. All right, that's it, y'all. Thank y'all for rocking with us. Dion, Michelle was in the house. I don't know who else was out there commenting. I that wasn't on my phone today, so I couldn't see people popping in and out. Only the people who actually commented. But we love y'all. It's always good to see y'all showing up. And come back and join us next week. We're gonna do it again. You got anything in mind for next week, Dr. Sue? We're gonna wing it.
No, not yet, but I want to say this. I am Sue Carter Collins. 3 words. 3 words. Who are you? Don't let them, quote unquote, don't let them tell you who you are. You must decide for yourself, who is the me that I be? Who do I choose to be? Because who you are, it's a choice. It's a choice. You know, your parents may say that you're one person. Everybody that knows you will see you differently. And that's okay. None of that really matters. What matters is, how do you see you? Who is the you that you be? Stand on that. Like that lady, she could talk herself blue in the face. I am never going to be Carter Collins except on paper. Not in the way. I'm never going to have 3 names like that.
Yeah.
That's just not. I am who I am because I love them. I worked hard, y'all, to become this girl. Hard. And you've worked hard to become the girl or the guy that you are. Stand in your power. Don't let somebody else tell you who you are. I am. Use those words and be creative and breathe.
On that note, I am Carrie Irene. We gonna see y'all later next week, same time, Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Pacific.
Bye, y'all.